Hello and welcome to Wolfram. Today we're testing summoning items, which are very annoying to test. Because you summon these bozos and they don't shoot the dummies. Like how do you get them to shoot the dummies? Well, you have to summon a minion, like a monster over here, and then they'll shoot the dummy. For some reason, they get far enough away, and then they're like, "Oh no, my father!" So then they like quickly speed back to the player and lowers their DPS. It's a mess. So the Imp Staff and Hornet Staff are the final two summoning items that you get before hard mode. So which one is better? It's the Imp Staff. Yeah, I mean, if you're here because you're genuinely curious, it's the Imp Staff. But if you're curious about my reasoning, here are the stats. Imp Staff, 5 more damage, 6 more damage with a Reforge. Damage range, 17 to 23, much higher than 12 to 16. And if you thought that was bad, it gets worse. The Imp Staff inflicts On Fire, which does 4 damage per second. The Hornet Staff inflicts Poison, which only does 2 damage per second. So the damage against a single target is actually in the Hornet Staff's favor, with 24 to 33 beating 21 to 27. But with every target test after that, the Imp Staff pulls ahead, as its projectile can hit 5 targets instead of the Hornet Staff, which can only hit 1. 3 targets, doing 55 to 73. 5 targets, 89 to 119. So this is the first reason I wanted to make this video, is that they actually changed some stats around. The Imp Staff used to be able to hit an infinite amount of targets. Now it can only hit 5. This item used to be crazy. Now it's just kind of amazing. Summons are so broken. So these numbers would be even crazier if you were actually able to hit an infinite amount of targets. But since we're not, only 5, these are all the same, as it can only hit the first 5 targets in all these tests. Average DPS across all tests, 84 to 28.5. Imp Staff, much better. Now here's a bit of a surprise. The Eye of Cthulhu kill comparison is 332 to 340. Both of these times are extremely slow. And reminder, the Arcalis killed the Eye of Cthulhu in 16 seconds. Both of these times are very slow though. They're kind of similar though. That's just because in the Eye of Cthulhu fight though, there are a bunch of servants of Cthulhu that'll fly around and get in the way of the Hornet Staff. So even though it does slightly more damage against a single target because of how fast it shoots, we'll get to that in a second, the Servants of Cthulhu get in the way and lower the overall DPS. So the Imp Staff actually wins there too, just because of its ability to pierce. Hitbox size, this is interesting. Here we have the fireball that the Imp is shooting. It's not a perfectly captured size, like it's 18 by 19, but it's shot at a slight angle. So this should actually be, like if it was rotated into a perfect square instead of being at a slight angle, this would be 18 by 18 pixels. While the Hornet is actually shooting projectiles that are longer. Longer, but they're the same height. So it's slightly easier for the Hornet to hit its attack than the Imp. So overall, that's actually a win for the Hornet Staff. Knockback, both of them have 2, extremely low. No crit chance, minions cannot crit. And here's the use time of the actual summon. This is just the item itself summoning the minion. Fire Imp comes out a bit slower than the Hornet does. And once they're both out, you can see that the Imp shoots once per second, while the Hornet is shooting twice per second. This really is the only reason why it's doing more damage to one target. This makes the Hornet Staff better against a single target because it can machine gun it down. But since it takes so long to summon the minion, it's kind of weird to just like unsummon your current minion and then summon this just to fight one enemy and then resummon the other one. Like, nobody does that. So here's what I was talking about before: minion projectile piercing, only 1 target compared to 5. Much better crowd control from the Imp Staff. Both projectiles move at the same speed. Both of the items have the same rarity. For some reason, the Hornet Staff sells for more. I don't know why. Research, both need 1. Ruthless and Mythical is the same. Like, they're both the best. And Internal ID is about the same. So yeah, not really a close battle at all. It's 84 average DPS compared to 28.5. It's almost 3 times better than the Hornet Staff, which makes sense. The item that is made in hell out of Hellstone, you think that would be better than a jungle tier item, and you'd be right. And the damage is like 5 lower against a single target. The Hornet Staff isn't even that much better, so there's just no reason to use this. Once you have the Imp Staff, it outclasses it so hard. What I've discovered is they nerfed the Imp Staff, weirdly. They made it shoot faster, I think. It used to be like 90 use time instead of 60 for the projectile, but not being able to shoot an infinite amount of targets really hurts. It could hurt worse if it only hit 1 or 2 targets. 5 is still a good bit, but you know, in goblin armies and stuff like that, you're gonna see more than 5 enemies at a single time. I don't know. I feel like the infinite targets thing was fine. The infinite buff that is impossible for the enemy to deal with, that just does free damage on the side even if you don't spec into summoner, is OP as fuck, and there's no way you can convince me otherwise. Now it can shoot 5 instead of infinity targets. Now it's balanced. Oh, it's still broken. You did nothing but annoy me. And that is the end of the video. So thank you for watching, Wolfram. See you next time.